Welcome to Bookworm's Retreat with all your bookish and crafty needs. Today I'll be doing a nail stamping video. I am an ambassador for Maniology, and so if you'd like to use the 10% off code on any of their merchandise, use Bookworm10. It'll be in the lower right hand corner. So let's go ahead and get started. So today I decided to do kind of a Valentine-y, but also almost like Wonka style nail stamping. So I went in with S'more by Maniology, and I love the shimmer that it has to it. It was from the camping subscription box, or like the camping themed plates, and I really think it's a beautiful color. And then also the purple is Littlefoot. I'll try to keep the descriptions down in the description box, or the numbers of the nail polishes or stamping polishes, as well as the plate number. I really had a ton of fun with this plate. I've done a couple of different manicures with this plate. I did an ice cream themed one that kind of went with the book Love and Gelato, and then obviously this one is more of like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory vibe, but also just Valentine's and cutesy little chocolate hearts and stuff. The plate, by the way, is called Chocolatier, and it's plate M427. And it's got lots of different little designs that resemble chocolate bars or the little swirlies that you can put on top. It also has some little melted with sprinkles that's what I use for the ice cream. But in this one particularly that I'm working on right now, it's the chocolate bar that I'm going ahead and scraping using, again, the S'mores one, B479, and Little Fit, which is B281. This mani was really fun to create, and like I said, it was just a really cute one that I feel like gives off some Valentine or Galentine vibes. It's a little sweet treat for a bookworm's retreat, especially if you pair it with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, that's the perfect read for this one. I'm sure there's other books that would be super awesome to go with this as well. So if you guys want to leave in the comments like other sweet treat or chocolate themed books that you feel like would go really well with this mani, then leave them below, because I would love to have some reading inspiration, especially with spring break coming up, President's Day coming up. I feel like there's a lot of holidays that I would love to be able to listen to some audiobooks or read some physical books while I have a little break off of school. For those that don't know, I'm a special education teacher, and so that's one of the main reasons why I started doing retreats, is because I have family members and students that do not enjoy reading. And so I was trying to find ways to help them keep reading or actually finish a book. And so it started out as a birthday present for one of my siblings and trying to help them get into Harry Potter, and ended up being super awesome. But that'll probably have to be another manicure that I do, would be a Harry Potter one, just because that's kind of what started Bookworm's Retreat in the first place. Um, but back to all the chocolate fun. So this is what the first design turned out like. And you can kind of see that I already had a chocolate bar on there, but it turned out so bad. So I was redoing it because I didn't like how it turned out, and the nail tip that I used is one that can't handle putting acetone on top of it, and so it was better to just stamp over the whole thing and start to start over, so I tried that, and I feel like this one turned out so much better than the first one. And then as the top coat, I used the Aqua Topper by Maniology. I thought about doing a Smudge Free base coat, but the Smudge Free lately has been smudging, and that's not super great. I don't know if I'm just applying it incorrectly or if I'm not letting it dry enough, but the Aqua Topper has not had nearly as many problems. So I went ahead and jumped ahead. I forgot to film like the other portion of doing it again, but I figured you guys just saw it. So here's me just stamping the second chocolate bar onto the other nail. And you probably noticed that I had this tiny little gap where the pink was showing through because I had the pink base. And so you can see me kind of trying to maneuver to fix that little gap. But yeah, it was an adventure. Nail stamping is always an adventure, and it's still a stress reliever for me, even though it doesn't turn out perfectly, because it just reminds me that even though things don't turn out perfectly, like, it still can be beautiful. For this next design, I went in with Boba, which is B330, and it's just these little mini chocolates, and they make me so happy. They are so tiny and so cute. I just love the simple designs within them. It took a little bit to reverse stamp them, but I feel like it is so worth it just to have those tiny little chocolates on my nails. I also feel like the cleanup on this one was a little bit easier than some of the other stamping that I've done in the past, which was so convenient and very nice. The colors that I used for reverse stamping this one was Coconut, which is B268, Catnap, which is B503, and that one was early release polish with the Mani by Me subscription, so I'm not entirely sure if that one is out yet or not, but if it is, then I'll make sure to link it in the description. And then the last one I used was Seashell, which is B278, I believe. For those of you who've been stamping for a really long time, I would be super curious to know what are your favorite stamping plates and stamping polishes. And even if you're brand new, like, what colors are you drawn to? I feel like I'm usually drawn towards different colors of purples and greens and blues, which is funny because this entire video is pretty much browns and pinks, which are really pretty colors too, just usually not what I'm drawn to. Which, I mean, I still had to use Littlefoot because obviously I have to put a little bit of purple in like pretty much every manicure that I do, even if it's one of those peekaboo like underneath, which is what I did with that darker pink that's already on the nail tips. Which, let me know if you guys are interested in seeing more of the peekaboo como, like as a tutorial. Como, oh my goodness, Spanish is slipping out, guys, sorry. I personally like to have the peekaboo nails just because it's something that I can see that not necessarily everyone else can see, but I appreciate it, and it's kind of fun to have that little secret almost that you can see for yourself, and it just adds another layer to the art process. For anyone curious as to why my fantastic Spanish slipped out, just kidding, I have a terrible accent. I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Puerto Rico and San Diego. I was in Puerto Rico for 2 weeks, and then Hurricane Maria hit, and so I was in San Diego for 7 months, and then I served the rest of my mission back in Puerto Rico. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Obviously, the hurricane had all kinds of trauma, but learning the language and getting to meet the people there was so worth it, and has definitely changed my life for the better. I love all the families there, and there's one sweet lady that asked us to call her our abuela or our grandma, and to this day, like, I just love staying in contact with her and a couple of the other people that I met. They just make me happy, and the Spanish has really helped me with special education, just because in the area that I live in, we have a very high population of people who Spanish is their first language, and so it makes me really happy that I can communicate with them, which by no means is my Spanish perfect. I have to work at it, but it is nice to be able to communicate a little bit more efficiently than some of my peers who don't know Spanish and have to use a translator. But yeah, sometimes it just kind of slips out, and it's honestly kind of a good feeling when it slips out because it's unexpected, and it makes me feel like I know more than I think I do, and it's more a part of my life than I usually recognize. But anyway, back to stamping. I went back in with coconut, and each of those tiny details took way longer than I expected them to. But again, I feel like the final product is totally worth it.